All right, man.
Yeah, every once in a while we'll talk about stories, at the time it broke my heart. Sometime when we talk about it now, it seems a little funny. But at the time, it was kind of scary. Josh was locked up in Chesapeake jail. He was waiting to go to court for abduction. He was facing 20 years, and he was pretty stressed out.
Shoot, more than that. It was more than that. It was 25 to 50.
As a matter of fact, we all were pretty stressed out because we knew that it was all a lie, and we had a damn good lawyer, and he caught them all in their lies. But anyways, I went to visit him. There was two people in the visiting room, Josh and this other dude. And the guy got done talking to whoever he was talking to, and I guess the sheriff didn't come and let him out. So he started just kind of clicking on the door with his shoe. And, I guess Josh gave him the eye because we were trying to talk, but he couldn't hear me because the guy kept kicking the door. So we looked at him 3 times, and finally, in the 3rd time, Josh just got up, and those two, they were going at it, man. They're just beating the heck out of each other. Josh was beating him. I thought he was going to kill him. I said, oh, God, he's going to get another charge. So I had to go up to the front of the visiting area because I don't know where them sheriffs were, man. I guess they were in there watching TV or something. I had to run up front and tell them, hey, you got these guys in there fighting. Finally, about 4 sheriffs went in there and broke them up. But yeah, he forgot all about that story. But I remember all of them. At the time, I was freaking out. But it all ended good because, like I said, we had a lawyer and a good lawyer.
Yeah, and that's another video I'm make. The difference between a court-appointed and a paid attorney.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say we had one good court-appointed attorney in all the mirrors. The rest of them, they just didn't give a crap. As a matter of fact, one of them flat out told me, he says, he's going to prison. I said, what do you mean he's going to prison? He hasn't even had a trial yet. And he says, look, I'm just telling you from experience, he's going to prison. So anyways, you're gonna have to spend the money because you're gonna have a lawyer that believes in you. And he's working for his own money, his own paycheck, not the city, little crumbs from the city.
I know that's right. Good wisdom, Pops.
All right.
That goes to show you right there, man. I totally forgot about that fight. I totally forgot about it, man. And I forget about a lot of stuff that's happened throughout the years in lockup. But I'll tell you one thing. It slowly comes back to me. And, sometimes there's a lot of stories I haven't even told. A lot. I mean, a lot. And a lot of situations that I honestly can't even remember. But, as we go forth in this channel, I'm going to slowly remember more and more about the lockup days. But anyways, let's get right into the video of the day.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-in-1. Today, we're not going to be doing vlogs or interviewing the old lady or making pretty little prison swolls. Today, we're going to be talking about some raw information that people need to know if they got to go to the penitentiary, and that is living with a cellmate, okay? How are you going to live with someone that you don't even know for weeks, months, or even years in a cell the size of your bathroom? It even has your bathroom in it. How are you going to live with this person without getting into fights or without leaving in a body bag? Man, there's certain unspoken codes of conduct that everyone needs to know, okay? And believe it or not, there's a lot of people out on bond right now that watch my videos, watch other prison channel videos, and they learn, they glean from this information, and they go to the penitentiary prepared. I wish I had videos like this to watch before I went. In the penitentiary, I'm going to tell you right now, you're either going to learn things the easy way or the hard way. And fortunately for me, going to prison, I learned the easy way. I had people that were pretty laid back, tell me what I was doing wrong and, certain things that you need to fix, in order to live that peaceful life in a cell, okay? And I didn't make a list, top 5, top 10, because really, there's probably going to be, as soon as I'm done making this video, I'm probably going to think of more important things that you could have done while living in a cell with a cellmate, okay? But I'm going to just go off the top of my head and name some of these universal codes of conduct. Keyword, universal. I don't care if you're in a penitentiary in the Philippines, okay? I don't care if you're in Cali, San Quentin, or Pelican Bay, all the way to Virginia and Greensville. these codes of conduct should be followed in order if you are living in a cell with a cellmate, okay? This is just standard material everyone should know. And the first thing that comes to my mind, okay, is passing gas and taking a dump in the cell. Believe it or not, we're all human. We all have to do it. I don't care if you're a freaking supermodel, all right? You do it too. And when you're stuck in a cell where there ain't no ventilation, there's different ways you got to handle these bodily functions, okay? First, passing gas, okay? You got a bunkie. Either you're on the top bunk or the bottom bunk. If you got to pass gas, I don't care if you know it's going to be a silent one. I don't care if you think you can muffle it in the blanket. You better get your little funky butt cheeks up and take it to the freaking crack of the door as far away from me as possible, okay? And there are situations where people just blow it everywhere. They don't even care, and that is how a lot of fights start. You know what I mean? Get up out your bed, walk up to the door, put your butt to the crack, and let loose there. And even let your cellmate know, man, you know, my fault, bro, I got gas, watch out, you know. Be respectful. You know, if you're respectful about the whole situation, homeboy ain't gonna get mad, whoever you're housed with, he ain't gonna get mad because you are doing it the right way. Never just let loose right underneath the individual so it just engulfs them, okay? Don't do that. Second, taking a dump. Look, if you gotta take a dump, dude, I couldn't stand having a cellmate. Every time they locked us down, he would immediately go and take a dump. Bro, take your dump when we're off lock, when I'm outside of the cell. Why are you gonna wait until they lock the doors to take your dump? Why? You know what I mean? We are trapped in there. I don't care if you feel like you're not private enough. You better handle your business, drop those deuces while we are off lockdown. Now, sometimes there's gonna be certain situations where you're on lockdown for a while, or you might have ate something bad, the food, you know, the food ain't the best in the penitentiary. It'll get you to bubble guts quick. And you can let it go. You know what I mean? You can let it go, but there's certain rules to doing it. You constantly flush that toilet, okay? The suction on those prison toilets is like, you know, airlock in outer space. You know? I used to, just when I was sitting in the hole sometimes, I used to flush my whole sheet down the toilet. I'm talking about that thing would suck the whole sheet down the toilet and still work. You know what I mean? Those toilets are freaking fascinating. The things that them toilets can do, I'll tell you what. But constantly put water on it. If you have to go while you're in the cell with your cellmate, constantly put water on it. And, you know, some cellmates, you know, put up a sheet. They have a coat rack or something. You put a sheet, hook a sheet around the toilet. You know what I mean? But when you get into the veteran cellmates that you've been doing time with for a long time, you know what I mean? You just tell them to roll over for a second, man. Turn to the wall. You know what I mean? Give me a few minutes. Because I tell you what, after doing years in the penitentiary, that putting up that sheet is absolutely ridiculous. You know, you don't put up no sheet no more to take a deuce after you've been cellmates with this guy for a long time. Now, some people, they just have issues and they have to have a sheet up regardless. Me, I never really had an issue. You know, bro, just turn. I gotta take a dump. You know what I mean? So yeah, always keep water on those turds, man. Flush, nonstop. It doesn't matter how loud it is. Trust me, your cellmate will appreciate it much more with you flushing constantly. Even before it even comes out, flush. Now, I should have said this first and foremost, but I'm going to tell you now. Rule number one when living with a cellmate, I don't care who he is, okay? If you didn't know him or grew up with this guy on the streets, rule number one, and this is the most important rule in the freaking penitentiary. Number one rule to survival. Don't trust nobody. Nobody. I don't care how close you are to the person, how much you've been through. Don't trust that fool, man. I'm here to tell you. Look, check it out. I'm going to tell you a quick story about my cellmate, that I lost all trust for anyone and everyone after what this guy did to me, man. Check it out. I ate with this guy on a regular basis for close to a year. Man, we told each other deepest, darkest secrets of our lives, okay? I'm talking about we opened up, and I mean, I knew everything about his family passing away. I knew everything about the guy, and he knew a lot about me. You know what I mean? At this particular time in prison, I had 3 girls that were writing me, visiting me, and sending me money on a regular basis. And dude knew. Dude didn't have nobody. You know what I mean? He had people send him money, but not that much. You know what I mean? And dude, I could tell, I didn't talk about it too much because I could tell he was, getting a little salty or jealous. I could tell he was hating a little bit. And I didn't want to come into the cell every time and be all happy and giddy after a visit or every time I got food or anything like that. Because I could tell homeboy, certain people, they can't handle your success. They can't handle you being happy. Because they get mad, they get angry, they hate. That's just life, man. You know what I mean? And this guy, man, he really did me dirty, okay? He was being transferred to a penitentiary, and this was close to a year after being cellmates with him, okay? And I had this little piece of paper that had numbers and addresses on it, okay? I couldn't remember all the numbers and addresses of my friends and family, except for my mom, my dad. That was it. That was the only numbers and addresses I didn't write down in it because I know their information. But I had the girls' names and numbers that had visited me, writing me. I had my homeboys in the streets numbers and names and stuff like that. And I would hide it. Every time I left the cell, I would hide it. I would hide it and stash it in my cell. It was this manila envelope that I would hide it in between other paperwork. But turns out, this dude, man, before he left to go to another prison, he stole this personal information of mine. My little address book, if you want to call it that. Now this is the crazy thing, man. After he done took my address book to the other prison, okay? I'm going to get into crazy details about this, but check it out. I realized my address book was missing. I put 2 and 2 together. I said, homeboy stole my freaking address book. You know what I mean? He's going to be writing these people. But I was like, I ain't worried about it. They know what prison I'm in and all of that. They're going to know, distinguish between the two, that it's someone else writing them. You know what I mean? But I didn't know their numbers. I couldn't call them or write them. I didn't memorize their information. It took a week and a half of writing request forms to the people that run the phones in the prison to get that information for me, give it back to me, because I had them loaded into the phone, because they have to be, you got a little phone thing that you can load in the numbers. But anyway, this guy was so good at what he did. He was such a freaking convict, man. If I ever catch him to this freaking day, man, Anyways, this guy literally said that, wrote a letter to each one of these girls as though he was me. And he said, look, I got in a fight. I broke my hand. They shipped me to a new prison. They took my commissary for however long. I got my new cellmate writing this letter for me. Can you please send me money? I'm in a new prison. I can't even write letters. My hand's broken. And can you put money on this guy's books because they took my commissary? Okay, they took my freaking commissary and I can't get none. So in order for me to get commissary, I have to order through this guy's name. And sure enough, these 3 girls, all 3 of them sent him, I know one of them sent him a lot of money. And he got all the money. And there was nothing that I could do about it. And it wasn't until I got those numbers from the staff and called them and they told me everything that happened. I said, wow. I said, I'm so sorry this happened, but that's not me. That was not me. I'm still in the same prison. But these girls, they ate it up. They believed every last word of it. And he even put in certain details in the letters that really made it sound like it was me. And it was my fault for opening my mouth and running my mouth to someone I thought I could trust. Rule number 1 in the state freaking penitentiary. I don't care where you're at. Don't trust nobody, man. Nobody. So yeah, that's a crazy story about never trusting anybody, man. And another crazy story in the code of conduct is watch what you say in your cell. Don't trust your cellmate. You might run and tell someone else. But check this out. This is another crazy story. Homeboy came in the cell, this white dude that I was housed with. And, I didn't really kick with him at all when we left the cell. As soon as the doors open, I'd go do my own thing. He would do his own thing. His name was Country. But he would always come in and deep down, he didn't like black guys. That's just, you could tell. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, a lot of white guys, they like to talk and run their mouth about black guys behind closed doors, which is crazy. Just crazy. But anyway, this particular day, man, this guy was running his mouth big time. He was really mad and annoyed by some people in the pod. And when he came in during lockdown, he came running his mouth and he was mad, he was loud, and he started dropping N-bombs. And during this time of dropping the N-bombs, the pod got kind of quiet. And the dude next to us in the cell, I can't remember his name, but we were pretty close. And he heard the guy dropping N-bombs through the vent. That's right, through the freaking vent. And he comes to the vent and he calls me by my nickname. I had a few nicknames and locked up. Can't remember which one I was going by, but he was like, yo, that wasn't you, was it, bro? And I got up on that toilet and said, hell nah, man, you know that wasn't me. You know that wasn't me, dog. And he didn't even have to say what it was that he was trying to figure out who said what. I already knew, you know what I mean? And then he got back in the vent. He said, bro, when those doors pop, you're through, bro. You're through. Talking to Country. Man, as soon as that happened, Country, man, as soon as the CO came around for his rounds, it was late night because it was lockdown. As soon as the CO came for his rounds, man, he got up out that block. Packed his stuff. He said, I got to get out of here now. And it happened, man. He got out. He was lucky he had a correctional officer that actually got him out of there. He was going to be destroyed the next morning. Watch how loud you talk in that cell, man. For real. Those events, they carry a long way. And another thing about living in a cell, man, look, there's different types of cellmates you're going to have. If you have an older individual in the cell, look, I had an Asian cat, man. One of my first cellmates, he was an Asian guy. And he had 30 years added to his sentence for stabbing someone with a freaking lawnmower blade. And he literally showed me the paperwork. You know what I mean? But he was an older guy. And he was really laid back. He didn't speak too much English. He showed me how to make pad thai or something with ramen noodles with peanut butter and tang. That's right. You know, it was crazy, man. And I've tried to remake it and it never came out the same. You know what I mean? Something he did. It was just that Asian touch. But anyway, this dude, man, he was state struck. Seriously, state struck. He would get floor wax and buff the floors with his hand and tables. You know what I mean? He was super state struck, meaning everything was spotless and crisp and clean. And I was a clean individual too. I like that about him. But he was also very humble and quiet, and he never really talked to anyone unless an Asian guy came in, and there wasn't hardly any in there. So he stayed to himself a lot. But this particular day, he worked a lot too. This particular day, he went out to work, and I had my homeboy in the cell, and we were wrestling, man. We just started wrestling, and I broke the dude's TV. I don't know if I even told this story or not, but I broke this Asian guy's TV, man. And it was like a $200 TV, and he's doing a lot of time, and he's an old head, man. And when he came back and found out that I broke his TV, man, he had this look in him like, you know, all he said was this: I need a new TV. I need it now. I said, okay, look, man, look, I apologize, for real. I apologize. And then he started getting mad because I brought someone else in the cell. I was like, I apologize, bro, for real. Look, I'm going to get on the phone right now. I got on the phone immediately, hit up my pops. I said, Dad, and I think he was broke at the time. I said, Dad, I need you now more than ever. I don't ask for too much, but I need you now more than ever. I need to buy this dude a new TV. And honestly, I think my dad thought I was up to no good, maybe buying drugs or something, I don't know, but I literally had to buy this guy a new TV ASAP, you know what I mean? And the only way that I could do it, because I already had a TV, was to put money on his books. And that was the only way. And saying that to my dad, say, hey, Dad, you need to drop $200 on this guy's books. Saying that to anybody on the streets is going to make them a little suspicious. But I said, Dad, I swear to you, there's nothing, no funny business, you need to do it. So they put $200 on his books. It came in very quick, and that was the only thing that probably kept me from. And this dude had 3 blades. 3 blades. Okay, it was crazy. He had like one out of plexiglass, one out of toothbrush and razor, and one out of steel from a telephone booth outside because they had telephones on the yard, and these telephones were completely stripped because everyone would make shanks out of them. You know what I mean? And to this day, I don't know if they took them out of Greensville. But who puts a freaking telephone full of metal on a level 3-4 compound out in the yard at that? Them things, man, guaranteed shank material. But yeah, he showed me all his shanks and stuff. I don't know if he was doing it to try to scare me or whatnot. It didn't scare me, but after I broke his TV and saw that Asian tiger stare at me, bro, I started getting a little shook. So I got on that phone quick, and that was probably one of the scarier times I had in prison. But it turned out all right. He got his own TV. Matter of fact, he came off on the deal, man, because after he got a new TV, he paid someone to fix his old one, And he sold his old one, man. You know what I mean? So he made a little hustle out of it. And he didn't know I knew, but I knew. Because the guy that he got to fix was my homeboy Jay. My homeboy Jay, he fixed all kinds of stuff. He was a circuit board master. You know what I mean? With a little soldering gun made out of pencil and wire. It was crazy. That dude could fix anything. But yeah, that was a crazy one, man. Don't bring people into your cell that if your cellmate isn't down with it, man. You know what I mean? If your cellmate just wants you to respect him, don't be bringing that wild stuff into the cell, because it's just going to start drama, man. You know what I mean? Especially someone that got 30 years added to his sentence for shanking someone with a lawnmower blade. You know? There's just certain things you got to learn, read, and not do. Now, if it was some other guy, you know, some guys you can carry. You know what I mean? You know, don't bring no one in stuff. Shh, man, don't tell me what to do, bro. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, man. It depends on who you're housed with, who your cellmate is. Some people, man, you can carry. You know, and that's another thing. Look, if y'all are getting annoyed by each other, I know this video is getting kind of long, but check it out. If you're annoyed by each other in the cell, some people, they'll just let it go, and build up, and then they snap. Well, make sure, buddy, if you snap, that you're going to win the fight. Because you're in that cell. And if you snap, there ain't going to be nobody open that door. You're going to be getting beat down for a while. A long while. You're going to come out that jank. You won't never forget it. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't snap, man. If anything, you got to try to handle things the right way. Calmly. Talk to them. And, you know, certain cellmates you just can't talk to, and you're just going to have to get up out of there. You know what I mean? There's some cellmates where you're going to have to say, there's no way I can live with this guy for years. And you're going to have to leave. That's just all there is to it. You know? Getting housed with gangbangers. Man, I'll tell you what, that was some of the crazy cellmates I had were the ones that were gangbanging. You know, I've had a few blood cellmates, I had a few GDs, and man, it was wild. They would all come in there and party. You know what I mean? It was crazy. But you get a lot of free smoke out of that. Just by living in the cell. You're going to guarantee to get some free smokage. You know what I mean? But you don't want to get mixed up in all that. But yeah, those are some of the major rules when it comes to living with someone else, man. Respect. You know what I mean? You got to learn how that person works. You know, there's certain rules and regulations you just got to follow, man. Especially when it comes to using the bathroom in the cell, or sleeping, or keeping it clean, washing your hands. You know, I'll tell you another word that goes a long, long way in prison. Huge. Okay, it doesn't matter where you're at. Excuse me. Use that word a lot. Okay? Because when you use that word, these inmates, for some reason, inmates don't like it when you don't say excuse me. You know what I mean? Step on their shoe, pass gas, burp, you know, bump into them on accident. You better say excuse me, because little things like that people take as disrespect for some reason in the penitentiary. Pardon self, you know what I mean? It's not hard, and that's probably one of the main reasons. To this day, I'll burp in my house and I'll say excuse me. Back in the day, I'd never say excuse me. You know, now that I'm just thinking about it, I am a little state struck sometimes, I guess, by saying excuse me. You know? Anyways, that's just the tip of the iceberg of some of the major codes of conduct that you have to follow when living with a cellmate. I'm not going to keep on going. It'll be a 2-hour-long video. I'll make another episode later on down the road, volume 2 of how to live with a cellmate. And I'll tell you what, it's very tricky, man. It's very tricky when you have to walk into an environment with someone you don't know nothing about. But I can promise you this, okay? Rule number 1 when going to the penitentiary. Do not trust nobody, man. Nobody. So until the next time, I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done it already, man. And don't forget to check out the description of this video for all the links to my social media. And as always, I want to thank everyone who has been riding with me since the beginning and supporting this channel. And everyone that's just now starting to ride. You know what I mean? I salute to every last one of y'all, man. Real. Recognize real.